This is an interesting topic on page 66. Hoffer says, this means that people called upon to attack the past in order to liberate the present must be willing to give up enthusiastically any chance of ever tasting or inheriting the present. It's a curious idea that the people who think there's a problem in the world, and that's usually most people, they are probably having to give up the idea of ever realizing their ideals, and that their own life is going to be, if they choose this to fight in this battle, it's going to be a life of struggle that they're unlikely to realize in their own life, and it may be realized for the next generation or their children. And related to that, on the next page he says, to enjoy oneself is to have truck with the enemy, the present. And I thought that was interesting. What he's saying is that the only way to really enjoy life is to not fight what's currently going on. And if you do, and if you're shown to have some kind of personal happiness, if you show it on your face, if you write in the newspaper or editorials or even online that everything is so great, what are you so worried about? You will offend a great number of people who think that the present is the enemy. And there's a great deal of people, this is completely nonpartisan, of all different political and religious affiliations, who believe that to be personally happy and satisfied with today is just immoral because their ideals are not being realized. And of course, what they think is an ideal is what they think is the moral. And so this is what, and you see this in all kinds of different writings. When people are displaying happiness, often you get attacked from these kinds of people. You get attacks because, like I said, to show happiness is in some ways to show contentment, or at least to show that you're not fighting the world. And so many people think that that's immoral. And so many people, like I said in the first quote, so many people think that you should be sacrificing your life today to guarantee some kind of future utopia that you probably won't ever see yourself, but the next generation might. And this is a whole complicated picture on the attack of happiness. And I see that if you read, for example, Ayn Rand, she talks about that, the attack on personal happiness. And this is one way of explaining some of the reasons why people attack personal happiness, because they are in a fight to change the present. And to show personal happiness suggests that you're content with the situation, or you may not. It's either you're content with the situation, meaning you endorse the current situation, or you just don't want to fight it. And you cut out a piece for yourself, you dodge what's bad in the world, and you get on with your life, and you move out of the cities, or what do you have to do to get away from what's rotten in the world, and you live your life in personal satisfaction. You get away from the bad things. But there's all kinds of people who don't get away from the bad things, either because they can't or because they don't want to and they'd rather fight it. And if you're not fighting with them, you're an enemy. So I think that's an interesting, complicated view of who's happy and who's not and why.